In the wild, animals will usually try to stay away from people as they are afraid of them. So when a tigress came up to a man who was by himself, he wasn't ready for what she asked of him. The wild has always been a beautiful place for Joseph, and he loved to explore it and enjoy the beauty of nature. Joseph was born and spent all his life in a small village in the countryside of Russia, where being a young person is a boring place to stay, but Joseph loved it. The town was surrounded by a beautiful forest. His father usually took Joseph into the wild when he was a child to teach him how to hunt, track, and enjoy the beauty of nature in general. Joseph became a good hunter as he grew older since he knew the forest well and how to take care of himself while getting the best from hunting. He loved the wild, but he had no idea that it would lead him to something that would change his perception for wild animals and nature in general. It began like any other day for Joseph. His alarm went off just as the sun was rising. He was ready for a new hunting day. He prepared and went into the woods to start his hunting day. Some people had asked him to get some meat for them in the village, and he himself was running low. It was a beautiful day. The sun was making the forest look so magical as the morning went on. Joseph chose to take a break to eat around noon. He already got a couple of birds and decided to cook one of them. While Joseph was in a forest, he wasn't scared because he knew he could always follow his tracks back to the town and was always armed. The hunter could see a lot of light around him. This meant that there was a place where he could rest, but Joseph had no idea what he would find when he walked into a small place. A tiger was standing in the middle of an open area. The animal had clearly heard the hunter coming because it was looking straight at Joseph when he came out of the trees. Joseph froze in fear. The man was caught off guard, but the tiger didn't seem to want to hurt him. In fact, the cat was being very calm. As any of us would do, Joseph quickly raised his gun and pointed it at it. The big cat didn't move though. It just stared at the shooter. He didn't understand why the tiger was acting that way and didn't want to shoot the beautiful animal if it wasn't actually a threat to him. Joseph slowly put down his gun and walked up to the tiger. The tiger took a few steps back and growled softly to tell the man not to get too close. Joseph could tell the animal was a female. This meant she had cubs nearby. Exploring from a couple of inches away, it was clear that she was wounded. The hunter made a soft call to the tigress as he got closer as he was worried about her health. This made the animal seem calmer because she stopped hissing and let the man get close to her. He noticed the wound was very bad and it was too hard for her to survive. Somebody must have tried to shoot the poor cat, as it looked like a bullet hit her in the back of her leg. However, it wasn't a clean shot, and it was clear that the animal's health had been weakened by the infection. When Joseph saw how bad the cut was, he tried to help it right away, but the big cat growled at him to stay away. After that, the animal did something unexpected. She turned around and walked away from the place, but she stopped when she got to the trees. At this point, Joseph started to hear small mews and growls. They were the tigress's cubs. The big cat picked up one of her babies from the ground with care and limped back to Joseph. The cat carefully put the cub down at the hunter's feet once she got to him. Then she went back to get another cub and left it next to the first one. Joseph had no idea what was going on and was shocked and confused. The tigress was trusting him with the little ones. She knew she had just a little bit left and she would die soon, but still the hunter was scared of what she would do if he touched them. The tigress started to walk away from the hunter and her babies at that moment. It was her goodbye. Joseph was startled and tried to tell the animal to hold on. The cat only looked up one last time at Joseph, saw the cubs for the last time, and then it ran off into the woods. The hunter was shocked by what he saw, but he knew the mother tiger wouldn't leave her little ones if she didn't have to. He thought the adult cat knew she didn't have much time left and wanted to make sure her cubs would make it. Because Joseph didn't want to leave the two young tigers to fight for themselves, he picked them up and went back out of the forest to his house. After making it back to the town safely, Joseph chose to take the two tiger cubs to the nearby vet. He checked the babies to make sure they were healthy so he could raise them well. The vet said the two kittens were healthy and told Joseph how to take care of them, like what to feed them and how often as they get bigger. The shooter thanked the vet and took the tigers home, where he did exactly what the vet told him to do. They were named Sasha and Alexei by Joseph, and as time went on, they got bigger and stronger. The Close City Zoo's staff learned about the two young tigers at some point. They went up to Joseph and offered to buy the two cubs so that they could be added to the zoo's show. But the hunter wouldn't give up the animals, even though they were willing to pay a lot of money for them. He thought that he would betray the mother tiger who had trusted Joseph her babies. After some time, the two tigers were released back into the wild. They were now beautiful young adults who knew everything they needed to know to stay alive on their own in the wild. Joe knew it was best for the animals to go back to the forest, even though he was sad to see them leave. A few years later, Joseph was going through the forest looking to hunt when he thought to return to the clearing where he had first seen the tiger mother and her cubs. Even though it didn't look likely, he hoped that the two animals he had raised would be in the area and he would get the chance to see them again. When Joseph got to the area, he saw that it had changed a lot, but there were a lot of strange holes in the ground. He didn't think much of it. He was sad, as he hoped to meet the two tigers, but they never showed. So the hunter pitched his tent in the open and stayed there for the night. But during the night, as he was enjoying the stars outside, a big grizzly bear came out of the woods and into the open. He saw it from his campfire. Joseph was off guard. The bear was afraid and attacked him immediately. Joseph remembered that he had left his gun in his tent. He had no choice but to get up and run into the woods, away from the bear. The big grizzly bear kept after Joseph and soon caught up with the scared hunter. It looked like it was over for him. But then, two tigers came out of the trees and blocked the bear from the guy. It was his tigers, Sasha and Alexei. While they fought off the angry bear, the two adult tigers made sure that Joseph was behind them. The bear gave up in the end and ran away. Joseph couldn't believe that the two animals he had cared for had shown up to help him when he needed it the most. The tigers surrounded him, making sure that he was okay. They then went into the forest. Joseph was very happy to see the two animals healthy and where they belonged, even though he knew he would never see them again. In the comments below, tell us, what are your thoughts of the story? Do you think animals have emotions and memory, or cases like this are simply isolated? Also, don't forget to like and follow for more amazing videos.